Today, we've got the Blazers and Pelicans, also at 8. You can get all the scores, the highlights, the analysis right here on NBA Game Time. Guys, look at these numbers. These are the most points through the first 12 games of a season in NBA history. And James Harden is right up there with Wilt at 464 thus far.
That's in 12 games. I looked at that today and I said, I was a small college player and not a good one, but I played 4 years, probably 100 games. I'm not sure I scored 464. I'm not sure that I did.
And it's in 12 games. I mean, what he's doing is historic.
Come on.
I mean, I just look, Wilt Chamberlain, you're on a list
Anytime
with
you're on a
Wilt
list with
Chamberlain
Wilt, right.
and
Yes.
Rick Barry.
Yes.
And Rick must have been a monster. I don't remember Rick, but you
I do.
probably
I do. Yeah, well, because I was in the Bay Area, you know, and so, you know, the first real pro team that I really identified with was the 75 Warriors that won the championship when I was in high school, and Rick was the guy. So, yeah, I remember him. Great scorer, but nothing like this guy.
Well, without Clint Capella and without Russell Westbrook in the matchup tonight, what do you expect from James?
Well, it'll be good because James will get a few more shots.
He laughs.
But here's what's really happened with James is he started to shoot the ball well. Like we know early in the year, it was mainly the result of volume and getting to the free throw line. But over the last 4 games, he shot 48% from the floor and over 40% from three. When he's efficient on top of all of this, then it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, goodness. What do you expect, though, from the team as a whole?
I expect him to take a lot of the offense, of course, but I imagine he's going to get double and triple teamed all night long, and they're going to make someone else beat him on the Rockets roster, not named Russell Westbrook. And especially with Clint, even more pressure for James to score and score big. I look for him to have another 40-plus, 45-plus game tonight.
Perhaps the other effort is defensively from the other members.
Listen,
of the team.
when you see a Houston game, what you really expect is there's going to be a lot of points at both ends because they're certainly going to score, and they're usually not going to stop anybody, though their defense has been a little bit better lately. And what I'm interested in that game is just what Rex was talking about. I'm interested to see how Minnesota guards him, how often they double team him, if we see any gimmicky stuff like box and one. And then I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Karl Anthony Towns at the other end of the floor with Wiggins out. They rely on him. Are they going to be 2 guys on him for most of the game? So I think that'll be interesting in that.
Why not? If we can see a box and one in the NBA Finals, it can happen anytime, folks. We've got just a couple of minutes until tip-off, and Iman Shumpert is available to play in this one as he signed with Brooklyn Nets just a couple of days ago. Nets and Bulls is coming up next on NBA TV. Well, Kyrie Irving won't be playing in this one, but take a look at his last 3 games. Almost 20 points a game. 37.9% from the field, just 4 of 23 from three-point land. I watched him warm up Thursday night in Denver. The Nets staff told me that it was going to be left up to him as to whether or not he could go with his shoulder, and now he's not going to be able to go in this one. Here's what Coach Kenny Atkinson had to say about it.
Coach, can you tell us what the severity and what your concern level is for Kyrie's injury?
Listen, he took a pretty good shot in the Utah game. I think he's played through some pain, obviously, and we just felt it was best that he doesn't play today. To take care of it, get healthy for when we get home. But definitely played through some pain. Starting after the hit in the Utah game, and I think he gutted it out against Denver, quite honestly. And we all just thought it was in the best interest to give him a game here.
You talked about getting over the hump, Coach. What are some of the correctable things that you can do to get over it?
Just I think we're okay. We're not just doing the extra, and the extra, the little extra things are part of the job description. I don't think we've gotten there yet, and we're going. We're going to get there. I do think it's a group that's trying to mesh and trying to get on the same page. So there's no panic here. I think obviously you have to get healthy, but it's going to take some time, and we knew that. I can't tell you how much time, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Is Kyrie worse off now than he was before the Denver game? In other words, did it exacerbate playing on it, or did you hope that maybe he would make more improvement?
I think you'll have to ask him that, how he feels. I know. Listen, like like a lot of guys, I know he wasn't 100% going into the Denver game. I mean, I think we all knew that. But like I said, he played through it. The returns, obviously this morning and stuff weren't great. So I think it's a smart thing. I think it's a prudent thing to do. And we'll see going forward what it looks like.
Are you confident he'll play in the next game, or is it too early to tell?
Well, guys, it's coming up next right here on NBA TV. We're just minutes away from Kyrie not playing in this one. We've talked a lot about the expectations for the Chicago Bulls, but now for the Nets with Kyrie sidelined, who do you want to see step up, Coach?
Well, we're going to see, their perimeter guys. That's who their offense is built around. Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a very good player, will get even more shots tonight. But then Joe Harris and Taurean Prince, who have both been shooting lights out from three, they're going to get more opportunities. But the challenge with Kyrie out, the way you overcome injuries to great players in this league is by defending. That's what gives you a consistency. This team hasn't defended all year. They're going to have to do it with Kyrie out.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why Iman Shumpert was signed. He wasn't with any other team, but one of the things that Coach Atkinson told me before Thursday night's game is he fits a very obvious physical need. We need some defense on the perimeter.
Yeah, they got to have defenders. They've got plenty of guys that can put the ball in the basket, and especially Kyrie's going to be back at some point, and that's another guy. But you bring in a guy like Iman, he's going to help defensively. He's won a title with Kyrie. They're buddies, so right. I think that works. I think right now, and there may be some comfort right now tonight with this Brooklyn team. They played a whole season without Kyrie last year and played awfully well, so they may have some comfort just playing tonight without him.
Well, we will be back in just a couple of minutes as tip-off in Chicago is next. They're hosting the Brooklyn Nets.
On the wrong end of a 14-0 run against Toronto, during which their power forwards were once again kind of non-existent. They knew they had to do something, and they knew they couldn't wait until December 15th when the trade market kind of expands. So they went to an old friend, Carmelo Anthony. They've kind of danced with him before in the past. They've, Dame and CJ have reached out to him and encouraged him to sign in Portland. And they've been in contact, but it just never worked. And so they reached back out to him and felt they had to do this, that their situation at power forward is so dire that they have to roll the dice and take a chance on this.
A lot of the conversation surrounding Melo, though, is shifting expectations, whether it's he changing his expectations for what he's bringing to a team or us changing our expectations for what he's expected to bring. But what is he going to be expected to bring? How will his role be defined on this team?
I think that's still a little up in the air, but from what I understand, he has been told that, look, you're going to play power forward for us. We don't know if you're going to start yet, but what they want him to come and do is relieve a little bit of pressure off Dame and CJ. Two defenses recently have used the box and one on Damian Lillard. I mean, teams are just loading up on him and making it tough on him. And so I think they need another threat to make shots. The big question, of course, is defense. That's been, I think, Portland's biggest problem during their 4-8 start is they can't stop anybody. And I don't think Carmelo's really going to help them in that area. So I think we're entering an era where, Portland's just going to try to outscore people. And but as far as Carmelo adopting or, accepting a role, he needs the Blazers. The Blazers need him. And I think they'll find a way to try to make this work, both realizing that this is kind of a last-ditch effort for both of them.
Then injuries aside, what else is this team missing? Or is this the signing that the team sees as the one that could take the team over the hump they've been hitting in the Western Conference?
Yeah, I don't think they view this as getting it over the hump. I think they view this as kind of stopping the bleeding. And then once the season kind of matures a little bit around the trade deadline, this team will look to maybe make that move that moves the needle. They have Hassan Whiteside on an expiring contract, Kent Bazemore on an expiring contract. And if they feel like they're still in striking position to make the playoffs or make a run, then I think they do that. But to get to that point where they have where they are in striking range, they need to stop the bleeding now. And so that's why this move is being made. I don't think anyone has any grand illusions of Carmelo Anthony suddenly leading the Blazers back into the upper echelon of the West. That's not going to happen. He's here to help stop the bleeding right now and get them in a position where they can